So I'm going to go ahead and speak at a tone which makes sense for everybody, just concerning as to the elements, as to my lovely absence, which was so secured, and which now I can't speak about it. There's been a lot of confusion around precisely what I shared and what I did, and I understand that a lot of it is a little bit misconstrued, and some of it is probably hard to understand. But folks, I was in a state within myself in which I couldn't exactly weigh out what was here and what was over there. And what I mean by that is I would be in these types of quote-unquote delusions in which were in fact games. And they were games in which were pretty much functioned at the level of pretty much like instructions, initiations. And these games, if you can pass games within delusion and thus stay here, well, it's pretty much received from the backdrop of not participating within delusion, but being here while it's in the delusion or figure it out, then you have successfully managed to complete the game. And these go on for a little while, and they can get a little bit worse because people don't care, especially about these. These can also be not just games, but just anything that could correspond to something in which they're doing, pretty much because the other person just doesn't care about it anymore. Okay. And I did delete a lot of my content due to this premise because, honestly, it was just one of those games in which I was making myself a 0-point premise. Okay. It was supposed to be something instructional. It was supposed to be something that was an instruction, of which I was supposed to learn what it was. And the whole point is that whenever we're weighing out things in our lives and we're keeping them in our mind and keeping them as memories and all that is junk, okay? See, whenever we're here in the present moment, we're in active release, okay? The realness is releasing anything that could construe what is present before our very face. See, sadly, whenever it comes down to us people, we don't give ourselves enough time to actually be in the realness to see past anything that could be going on in our mind, because it's actually pretty much not the case for most of the time that it could be true, because most of the time it isn't, unless if you operate from the 0 point. Because once you're at the 0 point, then once you point your direction and attention to one subject or one manner, then you begin receiving instructions from these, okay? And that's exactly as to how it works, and that's what I've been practicing my entire life, almost, honestly, pretty goddamn close, because it's just been a weird fucking road, folks. It's been very weird, and it's been a little bit something else. It's been something else. What I'm going to have to say is that concerning what you feel right now, concerning what we imagine in our mind on a constant basis, be careful about that. It could be self-construed and also shared within association, which I did have that backdrop, in which I did already share that. But it goes far deeper. It goes far deeper, even beyond the names of our own faces, okay? See, we're not supposed to hold on to the names of our own faces. We're not supposed to hold on to any narratives or stories behind it, and which is way back then, though. Until then, let's focus on the games, okay? So these games were pretty much partaking in like fictions in which were written and shit, in which these characters, there would be people in which would pretend to be characters and actively start to penetrate the imagination of the individual, in which they're pretty much in the first stages pretty much meddling with, and then in later stages it can turn into instructional value, especially if they seem to be actually passing whatever they're going through and they actually are remaining in their body. Okay, so that is the case, and that's the reason why I quoted power and body, but it's unclear whether those were my words or someone else's. Okay, so that is very utter to the point at which I don't know which words were mine and which words were from another, in which I'm just going to be describing the games only because I haven't met anybody face to face. And if I did, then I don't know if I'd be here. So, folks, just know that everything is still at the moment, but that stillness is odd. That stillness is very odd to me, and I don't like it. I don't like this stillness because it's odd. And I achieved the very thing which I wanted, was to be still myself and not be bothered, but I guess it's just too odd for me to register. It might be more than that. It might be more than stillness after all. And the truth of the matter is, folks, is that these words will go under the radar because people don't care. And that's fine. Why? It's just a case. And whenever it comes down to anything else in which I can say, I don't think I will be. I don't think there's anything else in which I can include. I think it's all gone. I think it's all done.